Today, I want to talk about communication. You've heard me talk about communication before. Today, I want to talk about how we can use technology to the greatest benefit when we're having difficult conversations, or maybe not even difficult conversations, just trying to get clarity on touchy subjects. Recently, I've had several of my clients tell me that there are people they work with. Sometimes it's their boss, sometimes it's a direct report or a peer, that make their messages, that when their messages are in person, when they're talking live, this could be by Zoom, it doesn't have to be in person in the office, but just live, they are understood in one way. However, when they're communicating something by email or Slack or text or chat, they come across in a totally different way. Usually they come across in a way that's harsh, stern, they sound impatient. And then the people talking to me about this say, oh, I get angry at that person, or I get ticked off at that person, and then I don't want to fulfill on their request. And then I remind myself that they are different when we're talking live. So what can we do about this? Not everybody is able to work on yes, we're all able to work on our emotional expression and our emotional self-awareness. Not everybody is willing to, or maybe even realizes that they need to. And so because you cannot control another person, how can you take charge yourself and have more agency to get this issue corrected? My suggestion is to use a neat little app called Voxer. That's spelled V as in victory, Oxer. I use this with my former communication with my coach, and it works really well. So in the Voxer app, you can just leave a message and the other person can hear it in your voice. And again, we're thinking that people communicate differently, and when they're using their voice, their tone of voice, their emotional expression is different, sometimes better than their written voice, and it might land better. So I can leave my coach, just using as an example, a message, something I want help with or something I'm unsure of, in Voxer, and that person knows that I've left the message because they get a notification, and then they can respond to me in a voice message, and I get the notification that they've responded. Sometimes my coach and I check on this multiple times a day. We are going back and forth, kind of workshopping certain things that I'm working on, and this is a very efficient, productive way to communicate. So why not use it with your team? Why not use it for better cohesiveness, better collaboration, increased understanding? Using Voxer, I think there's less chance of something being misunderstood, like it can be when people are writing emails or texts or Slacks or chats. Now, it could be that some people are better at the written word than they are in, live. That I would say could exist. I just don't run across it with my coaching clients as much as I do the opposite direction. So I'm encouraging you. How else could you use technology to have better communication, do you think? I'd be curious to know what ideas you might have or what you've already tried, because when communication is awry, resentment can build up, misunderstandings happen, negative narratives can be assumed. It really can impede collaboration because it can create the wrong kind of conflict. Conflict is healthy when people feel the psychological safety and freedom to speak their thoughts and have an honest to goodness back and forth conversation without being critical or judgmental. But when that's impeded, when it's the wrong kind of conflict, people can shut down, people can withdraw. That's when they quiet quit or could quiet quit. And certainly you want to avoid that. So searching for ways for your communication to be as emotionally intelligent as possible is going to create a more collaborative, cohesive team, less chance for people working in silos, and it's going to boost efficiency and productivity. It helps create goodwill, good interpersonal relationships, and good feelings of communication. So I encourage you to check out Voxer or some other type. I'm sure there's other apps. It's just the one that I particularly use with my coach. And see for yourself. Try it for yourself, and I would be very curious to know what you see and what your results are. And then again, any other suggestions that you have for how we can use technology to actually enhance our interpersonal communications, whether it's just as a dyad or as a team or as a whole company. Thank you. I just love this idea of real-time voice communication without having to do it as a voicemail message.